Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to play a little Sesame Street. Which one of these don't belong? Which one of these is different than the others? Yes.
We got to send it off in Ohio State.
What? We got to get him. We got to get him a Buckeye shirt. That is for sure. We did not plan this either. So.
Nope.
Well, we got a busy episode this week, guys. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave a little bit early today, probably around 5:30. So we are going to have to try to squeeze everything in this week. So how we doing, Ruff? How we doing, Tony?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Excellent. Kyle's here. Hello, Kyle. Jay, good evening. Watch this and the other big event. Wave Little Belgium versus No Retreat Russian Front. David is here.
That's good.
Welcome our special guest. Yes, I know. And he will be a special guest this week because, once again,
family commitment next week. So I won't be here. Hey, I'm the youngest. I have the most kids. I have
we are going to be taking a poll this week. We got several polls that we're going to have all of our viewers do. Number one poll is going to be should we continue with Tony or not? That is going to be the big question of the day.
He is cute.
I don't think I've seen him before. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much. We got a lot to talk about. First of all, hey, there's the Boo Tweezers signing in. Wow, nice to see you, Boo Tweezers. Good to see you, my friend. Busy week. We got a lot to talk about. Let's talk about all the goodies we got this week. I got boxes. I got boxes of stuff this week. Boxes of stuff. I had a good week. How'd you guys do?
I have not had anything come in for quite a while because I'm going with now I can't remember who it was that said play 3 games and then you can order one.
It's Testwell.
Oh, Heathwell, yeah, Heathwell.
Heathwell, yeah.
So I'm
Heathwell
going by
City.
that. I am currently playing 2 of 3 games right now. Hey, Mike, Dennis, yep, fellow Tiger fan, nice to see you. We're suffering through, but so I have not purchased anything because of that. So I have 2 of 3 games on the table. When I finish those 2, I will have my next one up, and then I will decide to purchase something. Pre-orders not existing, so I may get some pre-orders in. So who knows?
Don't compare him to JC. all right?
Oh my God. Johnny Carson used to bitch a bunch of shows.
You know, my mom said I used to watch Johnny Carson when I was a baby, and it'd put me to sleep because I wouldn't sleep very much, but I'd stay up for Johnny Carson for some reason. So I don't know. I don't.
Well, it's going to be kind of a messed up schedule for the next several months. I know that I will be gone July 16th through August. Well, July 30th, I'll be back. I'll probably be back for that show on like the 29th or 30th. So it's going to be Tony's going to be off next week. It's going to be a little haphazard. Ruff's taking a week off. What's this going on, Ruff? You got some kind of game convention?
In Camden, July the 2nd to the 4th. If it goes,
Independence Day. Yes. Nice. You're celebrating Independence Day for us. Okay.
No, just it's just a number. Yeah, it's the second. It's a weekend, so it doesn't enter our heads all that malarkey. We've washed that from our memories. It's yes, it's I forgot what I was saying. It's a sort of convention, small convention, 75 people in Camden, London. If it goes ahead, if it's all lifted on the 21st of this month. I don't know if it's all lifted, then it looks like it will go ahead because the rest of the tickets will be sold. So I'll be doing that over that weekend with Blue Tweezers. Me and him going down to London hand in hand, playing games all weekend.
There you go. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. So you'll be missing that weekend.
If it goes ahead.
I'll miss the 17th and the 23rd.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like we're like Jester, we were supposed to meet, but he's going to be going down while I'm up here. So yeah,
we can this close,
see.
Tony. This
Yeah,
close.
We'll see. Maybe we'll see what happens, and we'll see how it goes. And
I'm staying here.
Yep.
And so our topic this week, as some of you might know, is David says he just picked up SPQR thanks to it appearing on most people's forever list.
Yep.
I actually analyzed the data this week.
I got the email to him.
I finally got the full list. So thank you, Tony, for that. Only took 2 weeks, but thanks. I finally got the data. And so we're going to analyze the data kind of. I think there's some interesting things that came out of it. And then we're going to give you guys another poll that we can start doing for next week's show. We kind of talked a little bit about it a couple weeks ago. So, Tony won't be here next week. Damn.
I can still submit my list.
Yeah, I guess you'll have to submit your list before you leave.
I'll have homework, I guess.
You will definitely have homework for sure. Oh, by the way, yeah, Heathwell. There you go. Cheers, everybody. Thank you.
Cheers.
Right. Oh, I noticed the glass, Tony.
Oh, yep, of course.
Does that word begin with F?
Well, it certainly don't begin with M. That's for damn sure. He has no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
Nor do you. But anyway, moving on.
All right, well, let's talk about what we got this week. So Tony didn't get much, and that's normally if I know I'm going away, I stop ordering stuff because the worst thing I want to do is order something and have it show up when I'm not there.
Yeah.
So come July, I probably won't be ordering anything because I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks, and yeah. So this week was a good week for me. So I picked up a few things. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I picked up The Longest Winter, the Battle of the Bulge and the epic story of World War II's most decorated platoon by Alex Kershaw. So I ended up getting on. They were having all kinds of Memorial Day sales at different places. I got a message from Thrift Books, I think it was, that they were having a big sale. And I'm like, oh, I should go and find out what they have. So pick this up. Looked pretty interesting. I don't know much about it. If anybody out there has read this or knows anything about it, let me know. Is it worth getting myself into and reading? It's a pretty thick book. It's what, about, and it has like 50 pages of notes, like pages and pages and pages of notes, notes on
Yeah, the events.
notes.
That's the thing
and
about history
events
books.
and-
They're only
oh,
about 3/4 of the actual
Yeah.
pages.
It's literally only 285 pages, but when you take in the notes, it is 325 pages. So anyways, I picked this up. Then I picked up one for you guys, and I'm gonna probably send it to one of you too.
Well, we know it's going to be me because he's not going to pay for shipping over the pond.
No, but look,
Knight's Cross: The Life of Field Marshal Erwin Rommel by David Fraser. It's a thick one, boys. It's a thick one. It's got pictures.
our version would be very, very, very thin.
Very
it's
thin,
got-
yes.
Very thin, no pictures.
It is. It has information about the life of Field Marshal Erwin Rommel.
If people in the chat don't know what we're talking about, check out Tony and myself's playthrough of
Field Commander Rommel.
Commander Rommel on our respective channels, because I did it. Tony said, "Oh, I'm going to do better than that," and he didn't, and we both did very badly.
Yeah.
And since then, and some of the chat have just been taking the mickey out of us, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, I titled mine "How Not to Win at Field Commander Rommel."
Yeah.
I was upfront about it. It was horrible. It was bad.
It's a bad scenario in so much as it's the hardest of the three to do. It looks completely lovely and easy, but it's not.
Nope.
But yeah, good
Yeah,
fun.
I think it actually says on the jacket that
Oh.
this is required reading before playing Field Commander. So
Thank
So
you.
I've got that. That's pretty cool, huh? This is a big book. It's a big one. This is like, you guys could learn a lot. You guys could really learn a lot. It's like over 400 pages. It's like 550 some, 552.
Did it tell you what to do if the dice are like the dice gods aren't with
Yeah,
you?
I'm sure it's in there.
What sacrifices to make?
Then I got. our
Oh, you got your
replacement
updated.
Oh yeah.
for Airborne over Europe. So the maps are printed on regular, like
The normal.
paper. So now they reprinted them on like the card stock. So they match the other ones in the series. I'm not sure about the counters. I didn't know if the counters were replacement counters or you just didn't have enough counters. I'm not sure about the counters. I knew about the maps. So I don't know if anybody else knows.
I didn't know about the counters, but
Post it in the chat if you do know why the counters are there. If they're errata counters or if you just need more counters for more scenarios or whatever. So obviously, these are really nice. Ooh, they're double-sided too.
Nice.
So you got 23 and you have 19. Now, I'm not a big fan of that because what happens if you want 23 and 19 on the same scenario? You obviously can't use 23 and 19.
What you do is you play on a glass table with magnetic pieces, and then you sort it out. That's what the problem is.
There you go. Solves the problem, right?
That's good. That's
so
good.
this came in my box, and so hopefully I didn't pay for shipping on this. Hopefully, I got to go check my credit card because you know how opposed I am to paying for other people's mistakes.
But you shouldn't have. That came within another one, didn't it? Or did it come separate?
Came together.
With that, you bugger.
The Dark Summer, Normandy, 1944.
That's why
Now,
we've got.
what would have been really cool is if you'd have got this like before, say, June 6th, to get this before June 6th would have been super cool.
Yeah,
This
Nathan.
is, of course, D-Day and the Battle of Normandy from June 6th to August 21st.
Oh, Heathwell came up with a solution for you.
Oh, that's a good idea. Use the paperboard and then the cardstock on it. Yep.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
We're from this side of the pond, the old grey
Always
cells.
thinking ahead. Always thinking
little
ahead.
grey cells, you see.
So it's got 2 counter sheets. I haven't opened the box, obviously, as you can tell. I don't know if these are punch out or if you got to actually clip these suckers.
You're gonna have to clip them.
You're going to have to clip. They are thick, though. They're thick.
Oh, good. 1 and 2 players, 4+ hours, complexity 5 out of 9, solitaire 7 out of 9, which is nice. They have like an AI bot, or you just play both sides to your best of your ability, or anybody know? Let me know in the chat. Then
over this side are still waiting for it. Australia, New Zealand, now America have got it. Us poor buggers over here, we've got to wait. And it's old news, isn't it? It's old news.
This next one is a beast. Is literal beast. Ugh.
Oh yeah, because of the hard mounted boards.
Holy cow! There is this box weighs. I'm not kidding. Probably 6 or 7 pounds. I don't even know, but it's heavy. It's packed. It is jam packed of stuff in here. I can just feel it. Oh, like the weight of the stuff. I know it's got blocks. I know it's got mounted maps.
Yep.
It's got.
There's your way.
And I've been looking for. Of course, this
Cars.
is Storm over the Reich. I've been looking for Skies over the Reich, but you can't find that anywhere.
No, it's on
Sold
the
out. Sold out. But another P500, so hopefully GMT will move that up the list as well. They moved this one up. So obviously this one looks like a good one. And the thing is, I just get mine, and there's literally like 5 people that are doing video
Playthroughs.
series on this now. It's like, really? I can't even like GMT, what are you doing to me, man? Why do I get my stuff last? As good as I am to you, why am I getting my stuff last? We're still getting on Gene. I mean, I got to talk to Gene because this is crazy. I get my stuff last.
Is your surname down the alphabet then?
My surname is right in the middle. It's a P.
And what's the problem? Mine's right.
I know, right? Right?
And I'm on the wrong side of the blooming water.
Yeah, that's correct. You are on the wrong side.
Oh, to get no, don't get narky. To get stuff.
I know. I'm just teasing.
Look, that's the other game I wanted, but I can't get that. Thank goodness.
Ultimate Edition, reback in stock, Mage Knight with all the expansions. Plus, don't forget the 5 cards you can't get anywhere else. Now, boys, war game? No war game.
No.
No, why? It's got hexes. It has combat. Why would this not be considered a war game?
I generally feel a war game generally is more of a historical theme to it. Not to saying that any of those other games are a bad game, but that's my general opinion. And what do they say? Opinions are like, rear ends. Everybody has them, and they all stink. So,
apart from mine, what are you talking about?
So, not a war game. Not a war game. Is that what I'm hearing? Not a war game.
I'm of the opinion, which is why I do my ill-fated not a war game Wednesday. If there isn't a historical context to it, it's not a war game. Even Lord of the Rings, the war game that is the war, I wouldn't class as a war game. It's a fantasy game.
So what you're saying is, if it doesn't include any historical context, then it's not a war game. So it has to represent something that actually happened.
No, it has to be in this world.
Has to be in this world. So what you're saying is games like Space Empires is not a war game.
No, it's not. I don't think it is.
What about
It's a 4X game.
Yeah.
What about Red Planet, the new
It's a coin game. No way.
coin game?
No, it's a coin.
So so that one doesn't qualify as a war game.
He doesn't think any coin games qualify as war game.
But that's me. I'm going to get torn to pieces. But that's just my opinion. And as you say, we've all got an opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just what I think.
So what about a game like MBT, which is on the fictional?
Yeah, but it's in our world. It's a what if, isn't it?
And it's based off of military stats that you can actually off of military units, things like that. What if scenarios are definitely on the war game? I'm not going to dispute anything on fantasy, but possible next war series, things like that are based off of potential or conflicts that could have happened using statistics, and I don't want to say statistics, but using the features and the units that are available. So it's not like they're making up units. They're using actual units that are legit.
And the other thing is, the reason you may have said, oh, suddenly changed your opinion, Ruff, is because I have a Not a War Game Wednesday, and any games that I can put in now into Not a War Game Wednesday that I would have called a war game before.
Now
they're all war games.
Mammoth, King Arthur war game is not a war game. Monmouth. Sorry, Monmouth. How about the upcoming The Long Road? Ooh, see.
I disavow anything that has a zombie in it. So
it's everything that has a zombie in it. Oh my gosh!
But it is nonsense. What is a war game? It's something I can put. It's something. If it's a war game, I can put it and do it. If it's not, if I think I can get away with Not a War Game Wednesday, it goes in there. There you go.
I like Jay. Jay's got a very interesting.
Yeah.
No, that's not a war game. That's gonna be a fun one.
That's going to be a Not a War Game Wednesday. That one. It looks great.
Yeah, Jay got a good. Jay has a good thing. In Germany, they would never call anything a war game. They would prefer to use historical simulation, which I think is a better description. You can probably clear out. Well, what is it a war game? Well, don't use the term war game. Is it historical simulation? And so in that case, Mage Knight would not qualify as historical simulation. And I think most war games that are true.
Just laughing at as well there.
Yeah, most war games are historical simulations. What we would consider war games are more historical simulations than actual. We should
just get rid of the term war game altogether.
I actually think that's a good idea because it's too restricted. Vague. It's too vague.
And look at the problems it causes in the discussions, like even now we're having because of it,
Yeah, because if you talk historical simulations, though, then you're gonna take out. Well, how does things fit into historical simulation? Because you have games like MBT, right? That's not a historical simulation, though?
No, but it's a future simulation.
That's spelt differently.
And it actually shouldn't be historical simulation. It should be conflict simulation.
Look at him. Look, twisty-turny. Like a twisty-turny thing.
Hey, I have to deal with teenagers all the time. I have to be on my toes.
I think we should just name this the Fantasy War Room or something. Look at this. Defend and evacuate your town in Plum Island horror.
And by no way am I saying that these are bad games. I absolutely love the fantasy games. I love fantasy games.
If you need his email, guys, I got his email. You can send him.
akenner77@gmail.com.
Send some hate mail.
Mike Butterjelly says, I use the term historical simulation when I describe what I design, and conflict simulation is probably the best term to use. conflict simulation. All right. So
Well,
Is
then
it-
Mage Knight's a
is
conflict.
this not a conflict
No, because it's not.
simulation?
No, because there's no such thing as magic. You can't simulate magic.
You
If
can.
you want to say conflict game, yes, that is a
Yeah.
conflict game,
Mhm.
but not a conflict
All right, I'll text you.
simulation.
But
Hi,
there's
Mrs.
temporary
Jesper.
Make sure I'm ready to go.
I'm not going to text you anytime. If you want to come, you come. If you don't, you don't.
All right. I'll be there after.
If you want a drink, bring it. If you want a chair, bring it.
Okay.
You
All right.
tell Who did it?
This is like the silly debate about what is role
Yeah, I
playing
know.
game and video games. It's an
Yeah.
endless argument and generalization of all games.
And we do
Yeah.
it to wine
I
Tony.
did. I agree with you. I agree.
That's what we do. We do silly debates anyways. So
But you're quite right. So, polls.
polls. You want the polls now?
Oh, you've sort of dangled this carrot. What's going on with that? Are you doing the results of the last one? And
I'm doing the results of the last one. Yes.
because that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit interesting. And so everyone had like one of the things I noticed after going through the list. So we had 18 people reply, only 18 people, which is interesting because we have sometimes 20 to 40 people on our show. So half the people that came didn't even bother to send us their information.
They took you seriously, didn't they?
I guess they did thought it was, we were joking around or something, but no, we were serious. So only 18 people replied. And so we went through, and one of the criteria was to, use up, you get 10 spots. Each spot is a boxed game and or a boxed expansion or whatever is included in the box games. And I find it very interesting that very few people chose expansions to add to their base games. I think I was like the only one. Now, with that said, there were several people that did things like the Hunted and the Hunters, but I don't consider that like an expansion, but it does make the game
Bigger.
exponentially better because you have much more variety by adding two of the same games into the system.
You can play for a longer period if you
Which
survive.
means you can play for a lot longer, right? I thought there would be I personally thought there would be a lot more expansions in the list to add to the variety of the games, but I think people are more into the core elements, the core box games.
And also, you get more variety if you just pick your core games rather than a core and 2 or 3 expansions. You get more variety.
And I will
Like-
say, after looking at the list, also the core games that were mostly chosen were either larger or more, or either were larger games, such as more like monster games, or they were things like SPQR, where there was tons of scenarios and stuff like that. So there's more in those core games. You didn't have to have an expansion because there was quite a bit in that. So
Yeah. I thought there would be, exponentially, right? If you have a game that has, say, 7 objects in it, right? And you can choose one of those objects. Let's just go with, say, the Hunters, right? So you can play with a type 7C submarine, or you can type 9 submarine or whatever. So if you have like 7 different submarines in there to play with, if you throw another game in there that adds, say, another 6 or 8 or 10 submarines, that makes your game exponentially better, not just by adding 8 because it's one of a certain amount of number, which gives you a bigger variety, if that makes sense.
no, it does. And what I was going to say is that there's a lot of games that don't have expansions per se. I'm just looking at my GMT list and I'm seeing out of all of them, only 3 of the series I have expansions. And one of them, two of them are Command and Colors. I have Napoleonics and the Ancients. Those have expansions. And what was the other? Oh, Labyrinth and then Wing Leader. I guess there's 4. So a lot of them don't have like the expansions. They have modules. So, I'm looking at like Battles of the American Revolution have modules, not really expansions. So a lot of them don't have expansions. They have additional modules, but not so much. I mean, look with like the what is it? What did you just get? What box did you just the updated? What's that? What was I can't think of the name.
Last 100 yards.
Yeah, the last 100 yards. You don't need the core of the first box to play the second box. You could just get the second box. So
Correct.
it's not really an expansion so much as it's just another module. And
But
so
if you look at the list, there was nobody. Well, let me look at my list. I shouldn't say that until I verify, but I don't believe there was anyone. I don't believe there was anyone that chose Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the last 100 yards.
okay, well, I know, and that's
I guess what I'm saying is, sure, you get a lot of game in the last 100 yards, Volume 1, and then you get a lot of game in Volume 2.
Mhm.
But exponentially, if you put those together, you get a lot more because you have a lot more units, you have a lot more variety, you have a lot more scenarios. You can make up bigger scenarios, better scenarios, instead of just having one core box.
Yeah, I get it, but a lot of the games don't have expansions in war games in general. Generally speaking, they just have you have like OCS is a series, but each module is completely different.
Well,
I mean,
that was kind of the other thing was, I use the term expansion, but I'm talking about anything that if you were to buy multiple or put multiple games from the same system that you could combine things together.
Okay.
I use the term
Yeah.
expansion, which probably is not correct, but most people understand what expansion means.
Yeah. So like World at
I don't
War,
think a lot of people took like the opportunity. There was a lot of people that had lock and load on the list, but there was only one person that had multiple lock and load on their list.
Oh, the tactical.
Yeah. Because, like I said, exponentially, there's a lot more I can do with 2 boxes than just 1 box. 1 box limits what I can do. It limits the amount of maps and the counters and the scenarios and everything like that.
I get what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying.
I just thought a lot more people would jump on, doing expansions. But when we go through the list, you'll see that there was not a lot of expansions on the list, which means game companies not produce expansions because people don't feel the need to get them as much as they feel the need to get like regular box games.
No, I think it's more of a module thing, not an expansion thing. So if it's a module that you're interested in, then you'll get it. If you're not interested in, unless, there's a couple of things that I'm an automatic buy on or automatic pre-order on certain series because, I know the series, I like the series. And generally, like a lot of the series, they're over the same topic. So like Battles of the American Revolution, all those are an instant buy for me because one is I love the American Revolution. I love the battle. I love the fact that they're actually small. The largest battles are not that large in the grand scheme of things. We're not talking, we're only talking tens of thousands at the most instead of, like 50,000, 70,000, 80,000. I think 30,000 was the most. I could be wrong. So I think more or less it's not really an expansion because you can just buy this module. You don't need everything else in front of it before you can buy this module. So war games are a little different in that aspect. If you like for Lock and Load, for instance, if you like the East Front but don't like the West Front, Heroes of Normandy is not going to do anything for you. If you're not a big West Front person, maybe you don't want it there. because Judos really aren't that interested in the Western Front. But you better believe they probably have, Heroes of the Motherland on there.
So in that respect, they are separate games.
Yes,
you can't combine them.
You could combine them, but
you can't. If one's over there, one's over there. Unless they're not sort of joined.
Well, the tactical is the lock and load tactical is a little different, is because you can make up your own scenarios.
Yeah.
So that's a little different, but
in things like Last 100 Yards, they're modules of the same game system.
Yeah.
You can't combine the first one with the Pacific one that's coming out.
Yeah.
You can play them on separate tables and say we're playing them at the same time, but you can't combine them.
Yeah.
Like you can with expansions, like Space Empires. The expansions expand the core game. So I would call them modules.
Yeah. And so I think that's where you're not going to get a lot of people that are going to add expansions on. I mean, technically speaking, when you're looking at the Great Battles of History, I have 5 modules of that, but I only put SPQR on because that was the one that interested me the most. Actually, it was a flip between that and the Great Battles of Alexander.
And they are separate games. They just use the same rules.
General rule,
rule system with some modifications. Yeah.
So using volume 1s and volume 2s in some cases are okay, especially if it is so. Like, I know you have Old School Tactical on your list, Jester, and you actually need volume 1 to play volume 2, or you need this one to play this game. I'm correct on that? Am I like, for the Stalingrad, you have to have like?
Well, Stalingrad is an expansion for volume 1. Volume 2.
Yeah, is separate.
What you were saying before, where volume 2 is the east front or west front. Yeah. Volume 1 is the east front. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that makes sense to have Stalingrad and volume 1 together, because
Mike actually brings up what I was just about ready to say. Right. So another example for me would be Combat Commander versus Combat Commander Mediterranean.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
If you had just Combat Commander on your table, you have a lot of game, you have a lot of units, you have whatever. But if you were to add another big module like this, the Mediterranean one, you get a whole other set of maps, you get a whole new set of counters, you get a couple new countries to play with, which exponentially, makes it a better game.
Yeah, that's one of those games that I do agree that you would really want the expansion, because it does make a big difference. But like putting, Lock and Load Heroes of Normandy and Heroes of the Motherland, you're going to get some extra out of it, but it's not like adding Mediterranean to the original Combat Commander, because that adds three more countries in it. A ton of more scenarios. I mean, there's a crap ton in the original box anyways, but the Mediterranean really pushes that up and makes it a lot.
Do they link together then?
Yeah.
Or you play them separately?
No, they link together.
From the European to the Med.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's great.
Yeah, because you get the Russians, the Americans, and the Germans, if I'm right, in the original Combat Commander, and then the Mediterranean adds the Brits, the French, and the Italians.
Right.
So they actually add all that. So then you have 6 countries going at it, and you could technically have the French going against the Americans. You can do kind of like a Vichy France type stuff. So
there's actually scenarios like that too.
Yeah. So it's to me, that's one of those ones where if I had Combat Commander, I better have Mediterranean on there. I don't want to say better, but that would make more sense to me than having 2 Lock and Load Tacticals that are in different theaters, the Eastern Front and the Western Front. So
that's fine if you love that game. I mean, I think a lot of people chose different things, as I said, for variety. They wanted an ancient, they wanted a World War II, Eastern Front, Western Front. They wanted this, they wanted that, rather than having expansions or modules, whatever we want to call them, to give variety, because these are the things you're going to play for the rest of your life. That was the whole idea.
Yeah.
Thing.
And that's the way I approached it. I give me a topic on each thing.
Yeah.
So my Ancients was SPQR, and I flipped between battles of the Great Battles of Alexander and SPQR. and I ended up just choosing SPQR because I like the Roman better, which is why I'm excited about the combination of the new one coming out on the P500.
The Julius
So-
Caesar one.
Yeah, the Julius Caesar one. Yeah, because it combines two of the modules. I have one of them. The other one that I would say would be Cataphract would be a good one.
Well,
to
two
do.
in the series, I think.
Yeah,
better
yeah.
for PBOH,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's the Conquest of Gauls and the Roman Civil Wars. I think are the
Yeah.
two that they're combining.
I think that's the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I also, so yeah, that was great discussion, but I also thought there would be with 18 people, right? So, I mean, 18 people is a pretty good variety of people with different interests, with different likes and different everything. But I thought there would be a lot more, what I would say, core games, like games that everyone would choose or most people would choose. In fact, there was only 2 games that were tied for the most amount of people that chose them, and that was 5. So less than a third of people chose these games. I would have
Interesting.
thought there would have been, I would have thought there would have been more games that like 50% of the people would say, "Oh yeah, it's
Would
one of
be
my
the
top
bread-
10."
would be
Yeah,
the
it's one of my
bread
top 10. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
choose this game.
Bread and butter games. But
Yeah,
I
bread
think-
and butter games. But
Can I guess the two?
sure, if you want to guess, sure.
I would say
SPQR.
Men of Iron Tri-Pack.
Men of Iron Tribeca, yes.
And SPQR.
That is correct. These were the
Yeah.
top 2 games. Yes.
Yep. That was and the only reason why I'm guessing is that I did a quick brief glance over just to kind of see what was there.
Oh, so
And
you
those-
knew the answer anyway, trying to come across all clever like.
I just wanted to see if my observation, my quick analysis, my quick overview,
Why would they choose those? Is
the
it
amount of content in there.
It's a lot of content. I think that's got to be high on people's agendas rather than the era. If there was a World War
Right,
II
so-
game,
Yeah,
SPQR.
that is very interesting that you would have thought with the amount of World War II games in here that World War II games would be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. But it's interesting that number 1 most kept game was SPQR by total points over Men of Iron Tri-Pack. So does that tell game companies, hey, people love this. You need to start putting multiple games in your boxes.
Yeah. People like a bargain.
Yeah.
If there was a World War II game with that much content in it, you can bet your bottom dollar. Probably, he says, that would be on the list as well.
Well,
You know,
Combat Commander is pretty close to that, but that's hard to play solo.
But then saying that, just thinking Lock and Load Tactical, World at War 85, got tons of stuff in it.
There's only one game that had 4 people that kept it, and I can give you both 2 guesses, and I bet you don't know which one it's going to be.
What was that?
There's only one game that had 4 people keep it, and if I gave you 2 guesses each, I bet you neither one of you would name it.
The Hunters.
No, don't think that was on there a lot, was it? Because it's the content, isn't it? I'm looking at content. Oh,
Either that or I'm trying to remember what everybody put. And I'm not cheating. I'm not pulling up the
He's
file.
pulling it up on his computer.
No,
Look at
You
it.
can see what I'm doing
Oh
here.
my
Yeah.
God!
he's using his feet. You know that. I was going to say something like, well,
Mike Butterjelly didn't get the whole thing here. If you would have allowed expansions or modules, you would have a completely. I did allow expansions and modules, and that's part of our discussion. Is no one chose to use them except for me.
but that was part of the 10, wasn't it? They
That
weren't
was
Yes.
part of the 10. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, you have
Yeah.
to use the spot for each box. So, do you
The
have
other
any
one I'd say
guesses or?
World at War 85. So the Hunters or World at War 85 are my 2 guesses.
Yeah, I was going to say No, I was going to say lock and load tactical.
Hang on a second. Hang on. I might be incorrect. Hang on.
Oh,
Because
really?
I did a sort by total score. So let me make sure I'm not lying to you. Sort this time we're gonna do by total kept.
Jay, I'll show you that later.
Total
Jay
kept.
asked what that was.
Oh yeah, he was asking about what's on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show
Okay,
you.
so yes, I am still correct. There was only one game that there was 2 games that 5 people kept. SPQR, Men of Iron Tri-Pack. We already talked about this. And there was only one game that 4 people kept.
That wasn't Combat Command.
Oh yeah. You're saying if expansion. Okay, I see what you're saying, Mike. If the expansions and modules were allowed, yeah.
Yeah, sure, would be. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'd do series all the way.
Oh god, yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be. Well, we're going to talk about series in a second here. So, do you have a guess or not? Can I just tell you what it is?
Combat Commander.
No, it wasn't Combat Commander.
All right.
Tony, did you have a guess?
I said the Hunters in World at War 85.
World War 85 only had 3. The Hunters only had 2.
Okay.
The number 3rd most kept game was Old School Tactical, believe it or not.
Ah. Yeah.
And it almost had as many points as, with one fewer person, it almost had more points than Men of Iron Tri-Pack.
Mm.
Well, SPQR had 35 total points. Men of Iron Tri-Pack had 29 points. So there was a 6-point differential there. 28 points. It was tied for 28 points with Old School Tactical with 4 people. And then a game that only 3 people kept and got 28 points, which means it was a 10, a 10, and an 8.
So really high up.
Really high up. So it was a number 1, and a number 3 game that people kept this. And it's kind of amazed me what it is. It was World in Flames Collector's Edition.
Really?
Well, that's got a lot of content to it, so that doesn't surprise
Right.
me.
That
yeah.
is a big game. That is to be fair.
Yep,
Mhm.
most certainly is. Then there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games that 3 people kept, ranging all the way from 25 points all the way down to 7 points, which means if you kept it, 3 people kept it, but it was really, really low on their list. So the games that were 3 people kept were Enemy Action Ardennes, RAF, Fine Colors Deluxe, Labyrinth, The War on Terror, Night Fighter Ace, Paths of Glory, World at War 85, The Dark Valley, and Panzer Leader.
An eclectic mix there.
And the Panzer Leader was the one that only 7 points for 3 people, which means they averaged 1.2 points per person. So they either had it number 10 or number 9. Enemy Actions Ardennes actually has 25 points with 3 people. So that's averaging 8 points per keep on that. So that went really high, either 1, 2, or 3 for people.
I wonder what the sort of, if there would be a nice bell curve if we had many, many more people doing this poll. It'd be interesting to see if there were things that people keep picking. And
well, hopefully we'll get more people in our next poll. We'll find out. Now, part of this you have to take into consideration is by far, there was one series that was most popular above everything else by far. But because there were so many games, different games in the series, each game only got 1 or 2 votes. But that series was by far the number 1 series. Can you name it? Probably can, if you think about it.
Great
Right, GBOH.
I'm not familiar enough to know with the titles.
Great Battles of History.
No. I'm saying I don't know the titles of.
Well, that'd be SPQR. Yeah,
SPQR and Cataphract and
I don't think there were a lot of that on there.
No.
It was either SPQR or
No.
Great Battles of Alexander.
No.
Whoa, series. the Men of Iron, but that was a tri-pack.
that's 3 of the 4, isn't it, in that pack?
Probably Lock and Load Tactical.
Exactly. Lock and Load Tactical was by far the most popular. I think there was 9 total games kept from that series.
Okay. Yeah, I
So-
remember seeing that a lot.
From 30 or from 18 people, there was 9 people that kept Lock and Load. So that means half the people kept at least one of their Lock and Load games. So it's it was, it didn't score really well because some people kept just the base, the Normandy game. Some people had let's see, Lock and Load. We had Heroes of the Motherland was on there. We had Heroes of the Red Star. We had Normandy. Heroes of Nam.
I could have swore there was a Falklands. Somebody had a Falklands
There's
one.
Falklands, there's Pacific. Did anybody pick the Pacific one?
Not on my list. They didn't.
Interesting.
Unless I mean, scrolling through pretty quick. So
No, I don't
it
think
might have been in there. I can sort them by. Okay, so then there was again, total is 180 different games because we had 18 people, and each of them 10, so that's a total of 180. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 that were 2 people kept. And there is some very, very popular games on this list. And these are the ones that surprised me because I thought more people would keep this stuff. You have Command and Color Napoleonics, only 2 people. Stalingrad 42, Holland 44, Unconditional Surrender, The Hunters. Again, another game solo I thought would rank a lot better, but only 2 people chose that. Fire in the Lake, IAF Leader, Lock and Load Tactical Heroes of North Africa, Last 100 Yards, Panzer Grenadier East Front. I think that was me and Ruff.
Yeah, that was you too.
House Divided, Wing Leader, Target for Tonight, Empire of the Sun. Okay, so I'm gonna have to change this. Somebody put in just House Divided instead of A House Divided. So this one actually, okay. So I'm gonna have to combine these 2. So actually, A House Divided ended up going 4 people and 16 total. 4 people and 16 total. Because two times it was written down as
House Divided and
a House Divided, and then twice it was written down as House Divided. So
okay.
So
Yeah, got it to
4
2.
for that. Total is 16 points.
So there
And
were
then
more
2 people
people, but
kept
it was
them.
lower on the list.
And Imanity makes a point that on Lock and Load Tactical there is a battle generator, so you can play infinite different types of battles with it.
That's the thing with the War 85, and I even think Nations at War has that as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So
I think it's more fine tuned.
okay for the tactical.
I think so.
Target for Tonight 2, Empire of the Sun 2, The Greatest Day 2. So those are all the 2s. And then of course you have a ton of only 1s. But interesting enough, this is really interesting for me. I'm a data. Oh, look at your little doggy. I'm a data junkie. I like looking at this stuff. I follow baseball. It's all stats and sims and all that stuff. So I love this stuff, right? So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was 9 games that only 1 person kept, but it got 10 points, which means it was their number 1 game.
And they're all different. So lots
And
of
they're
different.
all different.
Well, having 10 different number 1 games is pretty good. That's a nice variety. That shows you is that there are different people out there that like different that I don't want to say prioritize, but like different things, but are all, we're all in the same on that. We're in
and it also tells us that there are enough games that are different enough to appeal to different people, rather than having, if you had everybody choosing the same games, that would probably ring a little alarm bell saying there isn't a lot of variety of games out there for people to choose. Because you've got lots of different games, there's lots of variety that people can pick. That might be for you, that might be for you. That's not for me, that one, but that one is, so that's good.
Yeah.
So what were those some of those games?
There was also 10 games that only one person chose that got 9 points, which means it was their number 2 game.
Yeah.
So there was a ton of games that people ranked as their number 1 or number 2 game that they were the only one to choose. Can you name any of them?
That also depends on how many games you've got. If you've got hundreds of games, but God bless you if you have, that's it, that's mine. But there we are. Can I name them? Good grief, no.
Can you name any of them?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of
Rise and Decline of the Third Reich.
I don't believe anyone chose that.
No, there you go.
Tony?
Jeez, I'm trying to think.
I mean, these are all pretty popular games. We've talked about some of them already. I've mentioned a couple of them.
Old School Tactical?
No, that was way up on the list. Remember that?
Yeah.
So we had A Distant Plane.
Okay.
These are all number 1 games for people. A Distant Plane, Battle for Normandy, BCS Last Blitzkrieg, Lock and Load Tactical Heroes of Normandy, Panzer Blitz, Raiders of the Deep, Roads to Gettysburg 2, Warfighter, World War II, World at War, Out of War, Combat Commander Europe, Chain of Command, Combat. Yeah. See this one there. That should have been combined with another.
That's the problem when with the dead entry.
You get people that.
Yeah.
So that would actually Combat Commander ended up with 2 people and 18 points because there was 2 people that had it as number. I got to take number. So 2 people and 19 points. So no, that wouldn't be right, dummy.
That'd be 20 points.
18 points.
Oh, is there number 2s?
Yeah, they were all number 2s. Yeah.
Okay.
18 points. Great Battle Alexander, Lock and Load Tactical Heroes of the Motherland, Roads to Gettysburg, Lee Strikes North, Target for Today, Tide of Iron, Washington's War. And these were all the 10s and 9s that were solo.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting to have some GCACW, like quite a bit of that.
It's very popular, isn't it? But even ACW, American
Well,
Civil
it's
War.
not just that. The system's actually really good and kind of innovative in some cases. So also it's more operational. And I think a lot of people like more operational games and tactical. Like you either like operational or you like tactical. Very few people like both. I actually like both myself. But like some people prefer tactical only.
So
they
I
don't
know
like
I'm on the
operational.
subject here, but I've got to try, I suppose, in the future to get into some of this blooming ACW, American Civil War stuff.
No, play what you want.
No. There's a lot of it out there, and the games look great. Yeah, I just want something to tweak me. Is it going to be?
Did you get the Kernstown?
I've got Kernstown, which is a sort of regimental. Is it? If I remember rightly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But is it great? Is it great campaigns of the American Civil War, or is it the GMT one?
GCACW is the great campaigns.
Yeah, but which one?
That's operational. And
Yeah.
Kernstown would be a tactical type level.
No, but the GMT series.
Oh, that's definitely tactical. They're totally different. They're not even comparable.
But they're quite complex, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say so. They're kind of like it's kind of like the Great Battles of History. They're very similar ideas. There's a lot of similar ideas by that. So
in the GMT one.
Yeah, in the GMT ones, yeah. it's got some similar feel to it, by the way, just kind of facing, kind of the way the attacks are done, things like that. It's very, very similar in that.
What do you prefer?
I prefer the tactical on that one. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you.
I prefer. I've played both, so luckily I can speak to both. I enjoyed GCACW, but I sold all of them just because they didn't speak to me as much as I thought they would. The GBACW, so the Great Battles of the American Civil War, spoke to me more because I liked more of the historical battles. While GCACW, there's no guarantee you'll have a battle at Gettysburg. So, because it's more of an operational level. Great game, just wasn't my thing. But I'm really liking the blind sword systems, like with Turnstown, and I have Longstreet attacks.
Yeah.
So I would definitely. I think you would get a kick. It's a chit draw. You know, it's by Herman.
Well,
Lumen.
Yeah.
Herman. The Kernstown is based on Mr. Luteman's chip pull, but it was developed by somebody else's name. I can't remember, so forgive me. Whereas your one, Longstreet Attacks, is pure Mr. Luteman. Yeah. But sorry, I've taken over. Sorry, I just wanted
no. It's good. It's good conversation. So yes.
Yeah, I would have thought there was a lot. I was expecting a lot more
overlap.
There was, I mean,
Me too.
Just pages and pages of ones. I mean, it would take me a couple minutes to count out how many ones we have on the list. And I mean, really good games, but only one person. You know, Liberty or Death, The Dark Sands, Atlantic Wall, Fire in the Sky. Lock and Load Heroes Against the Red Star.
And he's
I think Tactical Volume 2. There was only one person that took the West Front.
Yeah. I think I do agree with you on it depends on the themes for operational and tactical. I kind of do agree with you on that in some cases. Because a lot of the ancients you're not going to get much operational just because there's just not much out there. Yeah. So I do agree with you, but like World War II, I think it's kind of I don't want to say an either or, but there's more of a preference over one over the other. So, which is interesting because I'm audiobooking the Western Front by James Holland right now, and it's more of the tactical is great, but there's a lot more behind the tactical.
You're zooming out a bit more, are you?
Yeah, doing more operational, and actually looking at, you know, it like the Tiger. Everybody's like saying the Tiger is the best tank, but in actual reality, it wasn't as great as everybody makes it out to be because it couldn't move very fast. It had to use a lot of gas when Germany didn't have the gas to use. So there's some other issues with it as well. So, you know, it's just kind of interesting. He's like in the intro to it, he's talking about he's talking about how there's a lot more out there and we're finally getting far enough away from it to get out of the kind of the myth and the legend of World War II, and we're actually able to look at it more you know, big picture as a whole type deal. So I'm looking forward to it. It's 3 volumes and I'm just into the first volume. So
right.
It looks good. Yeah. Well, Mike, I can tell you right now that the problem with the German tanks is the same tank was made by 5 different manufacturers, 5 different ways. So what would actually happen is, like for the US, one manufacturer made the Shermans. You could train a mechanic on the Shermans and he could fix any Sherman in the war. But you had to have a specifically trained mechanic for that tank. So yeah, there was some the quality, the standardization of the American system is one of the things that truly did help the war on that. So Yeah, it's neat because he's really trying to take some of the like the generalization, like, oh, Britain just had to hold until the Americans got there, and that the Germans were so much better fighting at the beginning of the war. They had better equipment. They had more airplanes, which actually was not true. It was just there was a lot of self-defeativism in a lot of the Allies at the beginning of the war, thinking that the Germans, because they were reloading, they were rearming, that they had gone farther than what the Brits and the French had, when actually that's not as true. So it's kind of interesting to I can't wait to get into more of that. So
Is it a recent book?
I don't think so. I think it's been out for a while.
Right, and we asked the wife, because she's sort of area manager for Essex Libraries. So I'm going to ask her to get me the copies.
Yeah.
Library. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about our upcoming poll. We talked about this a little while ago about what we want to do with you guys here. We're not going to discuss it today. You're going to think about it, and you're going to submit your replies to us. Tony's going to have his reply sent to me so we can go over Tony's reply live next week. So we're going to go over this next week. Not this week, guys. Next week, because we're going to be actually ending up short today at about 5:30. I got to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to now put you in position where you have to now get rid of just 10 games from your collection. You have to remove 10 games. Now, this might be really easy for some people if you have a whole bunch of games. This might be really easy to pick 10 of them out. But here's the thing. The game you get rid of, right? You have to get rid of it and all of its expansions. So you don't get to keep the expansions or anything. You got to get rid of the game, all copies of the game. So it's not like, well, I got 2 copies of this game, I'll just get rid of one. No, that's cheating. You can't do that. This is not try to break the system. Right? So you got to get rid of 10 games. You got to get rid of the game, all the games. You got to get rid of all the expansions, and you can never purchase this game again. So it's not like a double take, like, oh, I'll just get rid of it, but then I'll buy it again later on.
But
Okay.
I love everything. I love everything.
Well,
I've got some clarification questions, so I might as well get them out there.
clarifications. Here we go. Clarifications.
So OCS, would each module be an expansion, or are they separate? Because
Series.
yes, are we going by series? Because I would gladly, I don't want to say gladly, but maybe 1 or 2 of those games I would like to get rid of, or could get rid of without too much of a problem. But if you're saying all the expansions, well, since it's a series, they're all different modules and they're all each individual game.
So Korea, for instance,
Yes.
doesn't have any expansions, so you just get rid of that, wouldn't you?
Yep.
For instance, if you're doing OCS.
Well, I think if we did, if you got rid of a game from the series, that would be really brutal to get rid of all the.
It's terrible. That's half my. That's most of
So
my-
you're more or
It
less
is gonna
talking
be
like
just individual games from a
Okay.
series. So if you own 4 games from a series and you got rid of one of them, that's fine.
okay. So you're talking more or less like Old School Tactical Volume 1 and Stalingrad. You'd have to get rid of Stalingrad as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
So if you are required to have the core game to play that one, you would have to get rid of that as well.
Correct.
So if I got rid of Warfighter World War II,
that would
you-
include every
get
one
rid
of
of all
the
the
expansions, every single one of them. Yes.
no, that's not going in.
Yeah,
I'm
like I
sorry.
said, some people it's going to be very easy, right? Because I got 50 games or I got 500 games, I can get rid of 10 of them, no problem, right? But
Yeah.
some people like us, right? I
Where
own
you gotta-
probably maybe 100
It's
games,
limited
so
game.
it's like a tenth of my collection I got to get rid of. So it's going to be down to the nitty gritty. And a lot of the games that I have, I have quite a few expansions. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see which games get cut. Again, you have to currently own the game, obviously. Number 2, have expansions for it. They're out the door with it. Number 3, you can't rebuy it anymore. It's gone forever. Now, this is ultra important, right? You must include your list in this format. The complete name of the game, the date it was made, if you know the date, and who it was made by. If
Except
it's
for
not
us.
in this format, your list is going in the trash can, because I spent hours going through this list, adding and subtracting words, this, that, and the other thing, right? If you have a game from Lock and Load Tactical, Heroes of Normandy, I want to see Lock and Load Tactical, Heroes of Normandy with the year 2016, Lock and Load, and then the name of the company. You have to include it that way. If it's not in that way, I already caught a couple mistakes on this, but you guys don't realize how much trouble I went through, because some people would put Lock and Load, right? Some people would write that out. Some people just put L and N, right? Some people would put lock and then N load.
Oh,
And when I do a sort by name, each of those names don't go in the right list. And then some people would put like Heroes of Normandy, and then after it in parentheses, Lock and Load Tactical. So I spent hours going through this list trying to.
Well, you
format
asked these
everything.
polls. You take it as part of the territory, isn't it? Isn't it, Tony?
This is an example that someone sent me, iManatee. So that wasn't my doing.
Well,
I'll give you another. My example that I gave him. He said I should capitalize the I in iron. Here's another
you should.
example.
Quite right, iManatee. Quite right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Under the Iron Sky, 2018, Thin Red Line Games. Just like that. That's what I want to see. So when I take your list and I copy it into my Excel sheet, I can then sort it by name, and all the games that go together should be together. Again, we are not doing this now, Heathwell. We are doing this next Saturday.
I'm going to put the date first,
18.
and then
Yeah.
make a huge space for the title. And
Yeah.
then
I tell you what, Peach, just put the name of the thing. Let him work it out. It's his idea. All right. So,
and Jay, you know which kid you love the most.
it's a bit biblical, isn't it?
So 10 games that you got to get rid of. Obviously, number 1 game would be the game that you would keep of your 10 list. The game that you would keep the most, all the way down to number 10. Number 10 would be your number 1 game you get rid of.
Straight
Number
in the bin.
9 would be your number 2 game you're getting rid of. So don't put it in the wrong order. Okay? So if you only had 1 game to get rid of, that would be your number 10. If you had 2 games to get rid of, that would be your number 10 and your number 9.
Just looking at Mike.
All these rules, you probably only get 8 people filling out.
Yeah, quite right, Mike.
Oh my gosh. Is it too hard to literally put down the full title of the game? Is it that
You're
hard?
just laying down all these rules. People would go, get out of it.
Hey, Ruff, that book, by the way, was 2014.
Oh, right. I'll ask her. Oh,
You know what we should just do? We should just tell the viewers, screw you. We'll just do our own list, and you won't get to participate. Nah.
Is she talking to me or you?
I have no idea. I'm just letting him talk.
Thing is, we don't have to make a list. We just pull them off the shelf, don't we?
Well, I got to make my list. So
So yeah, you want to make your list.
Now, my list will be, all right then. Oh, God, no, all right. Yeah, I have that. I'm not going to write it
well,
down.
let's see. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 lock and load tacticals. You could probably get rid of one of those.
Yeah, this is my thinking. Yeah. It's,
Mhm.
yeah. Not that I want to get rid of any of them.
Email me your list because
You don't have to. This is not.
Down.
You don't have to. But if
I know
you
I'm
had
going to have
to,
nightmares. I know I'm going to have nightmares at Tony.
I think it's time to this Buttercelli guy. It's about time to put him in timeout. I think he's getting a little aggressive today.
Did you get a bit nippy?
Can't
I
get
like
your
Chris's
hands out of my
response.
cold dead hand. I'm not writing them down, so if you don't email them to me, your list won't count. So
I think. Well, you could get rid of D-Day at Peleliu. At least that's an easier one.
Me?
You could at least.
No, I
easily-
love the game. I had to stop videoing because we're doing my head in with the colours.
Next week, we are also having a drinking game. Every
Yeah,
time Ruff says, I love this game, everyone's got to take a shot.
Won't be able to get moved through the first 15 minutes.
You'll be on the floor.
I love this game. I can't believe I'm getting rid of it. I can't.
If I don't own it, I don't love it, you see. And funnily enough, on Sunday, I know I'm changing the subject, but me and Blue Tweezers, and I'm not sure if there's a surprise guest. You know who you are if you can do it. I don't have the. No, it's not you. I don't have the game. I haven't bought it because it didn't appeal to me. So it's not that I don't love. I don't buy it if I don't love it. It's Space Corps. So I'm being taught Space Corps, and I don't know if I'm going to like it.
Space Corpse.
Yeah,
And it's
Space
not me
Corps.
coming, so it must be somebody else.
Huh? I'm not sure if it can make it. I did see in the chat, but we'll see. Let me know if you can, and we can say who it is.
Sunday at when? What are you doing?
Sunday, Space Corps.
When?
It'll be
Hi.
8 p.m. British summer time, which is 3 p.m. your time.
3 p.m. Eastern, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
2%, 2%, 2 p.m. East Central, and
Oh,
Mountain Time would be 1 o'clock, and then
yeah,
on the West
here,
Coast,
different times. You, good grief, just the ones for us, just the one or the two actually.
oh, look at Peter's going to get rid of all of his Panzer Grenadier games. Wow.
Thanks, Peter. Ban him. Ban him.
Ban him, ban him. All right, he's out. He's gone. So yeah, next week will be
Right.
the poll. We'll go through the poll, and we'll also have a drinking game. Every time Ruff says, "Oh, I love this game," everyone's got a drink.
Well, next week I'm either going to say I love Space Corps or I don't.
Well, you don't own it, so you can't get rid of it. So,
Well, no, just
Jay
saying.
cracks me up. Oh God, Jay's funny.
oh, what did Jay do
Actually-
this time?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember them times, Jay? Yeah. And it's all his fault and his fault.
Yeah, it sure
Yeah.
is.
Oh, and by the way, just in case you're wondering,
Yeah, you should probably talk about that.
I just want to say, yeah, this game, it's on the table here. A chap from Germany has designed a game about the 16th century peasant revolt in Germany. Not a lot of games on the subject. It's a 10-year project he's undertaken, and he said, would you mind having a look at it and doing a playthrough and things like that? And I said, yeah, okay, I'll sure, yeah. And he sent me, he said, it's on Board Game Geek. I'll actually put the link up if I can for the game. You can download this game. No, that's not it. Hold on. Let me just get it up again. That's better. Copy. I'll get it one
Well, while
day.
you're doing that, Fred has a good question. Can we add comments as to why we want to get rid of them? The risk would be
Yes.
interesting, but the reason would be really insightful. Sure. If you
Yeah.
want to include why you chose this game, that would be really good. So that would be very cool.
So anyway, he said it's a big print and play. There's lots of meeples you have to buy, this, that, and the other, cards to print out, this, that. If I make it up for you, would you please have a look at it? And I said, okay. And he sent it to me. Look, he's even made a box of it. Look,
Very
don't
nice.
worry. That means cleric and captain. And it's the, if I can pronounce it right, Ensvenhut is the guy that sort of initiated the rebellion during the Reformation. And you're playing that side, and you're playing one of the parties that try and take over or convince villages to get on your side. And it looks a very involved game, and there's a little bit of Euro in it, a little bit of worker placement, some combat, and all that sort of thing. So that's what that is. The only problem I've got with it, it looks really good, and he's sent me all the meeples. I mean, this must, you know, he's spent a lot of time, printed out all the cards for me, lots of cards and things. Looks really good. The dice and everything. The rules
are written in German.
No, they're not written in German. They're not. They're not. The guy has actually translated them all into English from German, and he's done me a sort of combed version of the rules. And I'm reading them. And it might be me, but he said, "Any problems? Contact me." Is that designers and rules? I'll say no more. So it might be a little while before I get this on the table, but it does look interesting. So that's what that was. So I'm not sure if that will be on next week. As you know, I had to stop my D-Day at Peleliu, not because I'm not enjoying it. I play it offline, if you like, and it's great. I'll probably make mistakes, but because of the color thing, it was causing me a bit of stress, making sure I had everything right, and I was forgetting things, and it took an age to video every single video.
Well, that sounds like one you can get rid of then.
No, I like the game. It's nothing to do with not liking the game. It's I didn't like
that's a shot.
I didn't like didn't like videoing it, so I put it away. Who knows in the future? So I'm up. I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to do. This one's going to take a bit of time. I'm going to have to scratch my head and work my way. A few emails going back and forth, I think. It's for 2 to 6 players, but there is a solo variant in it as well. Check it out on Board Game Geek. I've left it. I've left the link up there somewhere. If that's...
I'm wondering.
Yeah, I saw it.
Does DVG have? Do I own 10 DVG games? This might be really easy. This might be really easy. Yep. Peter, drink. Everyone drink.
They probably won't be on.
Tony's going to miss all the fun next week.
I love DVG games.
Every time Ross says, "Hey, I love this game. I can't believe I'm getting rid of this game. I love this game."
That's right, Jay. Eisenhunt. Yes, Eisenhunt.
Which translates to Iron Hat.
The problem is he's used this weird font, and it's very hard to read. And that's something I may mention to him, because I think he wants. This is the prototype version, and U-boat. The prototype version. I'm thinking maybe he wants to get it out there a bit more and see what people think of it. So hopefully it might get taken up from someone. I don't know, but yeah, it looks interesting.
Well, let's get it on the table, man. What are you waiting for? Good Lord.
I'll tell you what, here's a challenge. Download the rules. Go and have a look, guys, in the chat. Have a look at it. See what you think. Download the rules.
Well, you got to give us the link.
He did. Yeah, it's in there.
I did. Yeah, it's up there. I'll do it again.
I'm sorry. Did I miss it?
Yeah, you did.
Shared your screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've done it again. There we are. Tell me what you think. Tell me how to play it. Talk me through it, because it might just be me, but it looks so much in it.
Pretty much, you want people to show you how to play this one. Then you get together with.
He's got it down. Jester, I know where you're going.
Every Sunday, you get together with Blue Tweezers, and he teaches you a game.
And
you get together with me and Tony and Buttercello, and we teach you a game.
Get his name right. You get the if you get Butter Jelly, all right?
Butter Jelly, sorry.
Here you go. And on Sunday with Space Corps, it's Blue Tweezers and Hethwell.
Not me.
Well, you got to put yourself out.
I see you get invited to a lot of his stuff, don't you?
Who, me?
No, yeah. Tony. Don't you see we get invited to a lot of rough stuff?
That's okay. I've got a project that I'm working on tomorrow, anyways. So
yeah, and also me and Tony are doing things in the future. You know, some live streams.
Yeah, me and Tony are too.
Yep.
Someday.
No, we are getting close to our launch of our ATS YouTube channel and website. So we're working on a way up on that, and we've got a few projects to work on. But
For the ATS stuff?
yep,
Ah,
we've got some. We wanted to get enough prepared so that we're releasing something about once a week instead of release everything and then there's nothing. So.
Oh right, okay. I thought I saw something like that as well earlier on, but then
Looks like
okay.
it was out. So
Right,
we're
hopefully
looking for
this month,
someone
Peg.
else, or might be looking for someone else.
Well, if you tweezers, if you want to ask this old git here, then ask him. I don't care. I'm not proud.
We have 4 minutes, and then we're gonna close it out early today, boys. Sorry about this if you're just joining us or didn't realize, but 5:30 I gotta go. So Tony, Ruff, what do we got coming up there this week? What can we expect? Anything good?
Longstreet Attacks and Picket Duty. I plan on 2 videos of each. I've got great feedback on the Longstreet Attacks from the designer as well as from several people. I didn't do too badly, which makes me feel pretty good. I only missed a few things. So, but yeah, I'll probably do a video each day for the next 4 days for that. So,
And your thing with Butter Jello is coming along.
yeah, I have to get back on that. That's going to be. It's getting hot around here, and you know what happens when it gets hot in Northwest Ohio. In Ohio,
And then you're not here next week, so
yeah. But during the
time he's not
weekdays, I
here
am.
next week. He's asked for another vacation day, Ruff.
Yep.
Wow.
Part-time. Put him on part-time pay.
Oh, okay. I'll take the part-time pay.
What do you got coming up, Ruff?
Well, I finished. Yes, well, Peleliu's gone, I'm afraid. I don't know what to do next week. I was hoping to do some unboxings of the P500s that everybody else, apart from us, like over this side of the pond, has got. They might turn up next week. Might do. Yeah, don't rub it in. All right. Then yeah, and the other one, yeah.
Live unboxings on my channel this week for Storm Over the Reich and the Dark Summer coming here.
Wow,
on
that's
the
a thin
channel.
box for the Dark Summer.
It is very thin, and it's
Not a
light
lot in
too.
Not a lot
It is
in it.
light. Like literally, I mean, you could hold this up with like a paper clip. It's very. I don't know what's in the. I think they sent me an empty box.
No, there's not a lot in it. There's a couple of player aids, a map, and a counter sheet. I think
And
that's
Would you
it.
say 1 or 2 counter sheets in there? It's like not
Yeah,
much.
I think there was 2. I think it's
Two,
2.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
2 counter sheets. It doesn't say how many counter sheets or counters on the sheet. It just says 2 counter sheets. So it could be
Yeah.
2 of the little ones, 2 of the big. I don't know.
No,
Whatever.
they're full size. But that's what I was hoping. Apart from that, I don't know. What do you reckon? Target for tonight?
Yes.
There are some problems with Target for tonight with the, as I've mentioned the other week, with the head-on attacks from the Germans. There's far too much of it, evidently, in the rules as written. And there are new tables to download, but I'm just thinking I'll play it out the box because if people want the game,
What
those-
was the game you were going to play, but you didn't because you had 2 already going on? You mentioned it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Oh, I'd really like to get this to the table, but I can't because I got this and I got
2
this.
or 3 weeks ago that was. It could be
What
anything.
was it?
I
Oh,
don't know. Can't remember.
I know you loved it. I know that. Bye,
I love-
everybody.
I love everything.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Go, moaned at.
Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thanks for
See,
joining us.
Mike, I'll be in contact. I'll let you know.
All right.
Contact him for tomorrow.